My name is Jackie Domanus. I'm the founder of Idea Citizen. Thank you for joining us. Rupali Kumbhani is a global transformation and innovation executive C-suite advisor. And here we're talking about the conversation, or today we're having a conversation at the intersection of AI strategy and leadership. We all have the same technology really out there. We all have the same kind of toolkit accessible to us, but kind of the thesis, at least we initially discussed, is how leadership really comes into play here. There's a lot to get into today.
Thank you, Jackie, for this nice conversation. I'm looking forward to it. As we have talked about, I'm very passionate about this conversation. So what I've been seeing is past 2 years, we have all worked to know what's how I can do and is it valuable to us? And that was the right place. You have division between people who feels that AI not bringing value and some believe strongly about it. I don't see this gap has smaller. I mean, it's not completely gone, but it has got smaller. Now people have hands-on experience. So now most of the people is believing on how AI works. But the AI sameness we are talking about is the direction we all did it last 2 years is how to make AI better, how AI would be useful for us. Can AI work? But nobody thinks that what if AI works? Then what? That's what I'm talking about is AI sameness. So that means you're using the same tool cases, you have the same agentic models from throughout generative models, throughout your products, and you have a same vendor supporting you in a similar level. So if all of us are using the same thing, then where is the advantage of AI? Yes, you will have a faster processes. And I don't say that you are not going to be using those AI, but then how to use it to your advantage so that you are a forward thinker, you are a leader in your industry. So what is that differentiator between all the...
Are they all the same at the end of the day and just kind of with a new label in the front of them?
So let me take a step back. So it's a great questions. And this is the questions I get it a lot around from people, not only from your side where you're working a lot on a generative side and when you are using social media or content creations, and then there is a video creation, there is a creative side of the place, but also at different marketing world and finance world, we all are using the tools. And that's the tool-based conversation, which we are having it a lot. And I want to take a step back from that. I want to focus on the transformation piece, which we are expecting AI to bring in our life. That's the what I have done it in past of my life, and I feel like it's have probed me or has made me in a bright position to done with the AI transformation. So for me, the transformation is combination of a four: is the technology, the people, data, and processes. Now, technology is a big bulk. So it's an infrastructure, you have it, your tools, your products, everything combined. But when we're talking about this transformation, we have to combine all this together. And that's where your answer comes in, that what the differentiator is going to be among those model. It's going to be that leadership who thinks in that perspective. Like, which is the right model for me to solve this problem? And how effectively I can create that process so that my human can use this and create the advantage of it. And in terms, it's going to be generating the revenue out of it because we are listening to the news so much. Big 7 companies are losing funding in using these tokens, and they're spending it quickly, and it's going to get quickly. When you're scaling these tools, your working might be in a use cases for 4 to 5 people or a 4 or 5 use cases. Now, when we are talking at enterprise level, the scalability is higher. Your user is going to be constantly increasing and you want to increase your user base, but that brings their own set of challenges. So is your infrastructure and data is ready for that or not?
Yeah.
And how wisely you're structuring around. So keeping this 4 component together is where that your leadership is. So that can apply to a small, mid-sized organization to the largest organization, because that's going to be your differentiator in this AI sameness. Because now you have your own data for your own business model, which is created right for your environment. You have people who is right, skillful for your industry, and now leveraging the technology, which will make their life better. So that I would feel that combination of 4 is how leadership use them. It's going to be the advantage.
I mean, can I ask the slightly sidebar, but I don't think it's particularly non sequitur, but like, where my head's going is privacy. And so like within an organization, of course, I think I haven't been working with any clients that don't have some sort of enterprise version of a software that they're using and sharing with their teams. My question
Sure.
to you there is proprietary information. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
I know that there's like this fantasy, and I forgot if this was, I know that there's this fantasy that, like, hey, this information is not being shared or it's not training some models. What, but like, what is your general, like, give it to me straight. Like, what do you really think?
Data privacy is critical and it should not be an afterthought. It should be planned when you are thinking about your transformation. I can give you one of the examples. So, when I joined Consequence Forum as a board of director for strategy and technology, at Consequence Forum, we provide voices to people who are affected by conflict through art and literature. So, my first role I started building is the AI strategy from the scratch and how to implement it. And the people's concern was very similar to what you're talking about. That notion of AI replacing people is going to be impacting the voices of the people and it's going to be taking away the authenticity of the people. My first strategy there was not to put AI on top of our artist voices because that's where the data security you're talking about. That means the originality because these are voices of the individual members should not be impacted by the AI. It should come out as authentic because that's the mission of our organization. But then I've leveraged AI into the operational side, building the business model, creating the hiring processes around that, how we can leverage and make our workflow more automated so that we have operational efficiency. So data security is critical. And as a leader, you have to make that decision, which is the right level. One AI model making a decision on another AI model would not be a rightful, ethical, or secure way to launch any transformation in AI.
So what do I mean, so what does somebody do with, I think, like, kind of get a little
Yeah.
big brothery of like the organization. People can and sometimes do put information
Yeah.
also into their own tools that they potentially like to use. So what does a best practice for implementing a strategy broadly within an organization look like at that level?
I would say starting the conversation with the infrastructure and security and rest of the technology team together and keeping non-technology people in your strategy planning too. A lot of time they becomes the silos. It's like, oh, HR people, marketing people, they don't know what's the technology is happening. No. They know what's people are doing and what's especially what's their team members are doing. They are the voices and you need to listen to them how they are working. Then secondly is creating an infrastructure inside your own environment so that it opens the door for people to use the technology wisely. The more option you give it to them, a more opportunity you have given them to use AI in your secure environment, that gives the leaders that visibility that, okay, my data is not exposed to some side channels. And
Right.
people feel it's comfortable because now it's my company is giving me this AI model, which is governed by my company, so I can use it to my advantage. It becomes difficult when you have to pull up your data from your security and go on third party. Most of the people don't want to spend that much time. When you have opened that door and listen to the people, if that tool is not right for the environment, just because I was getting some deals from something and dump it on the people, it is going to be people using some outside tools. So combining all this together, you will have more people using that and giving you feedback saying, hey, this tool is exactly what we wanted to do. No, we are spending more money here. We should be getting some another tool which is right for our environment, for our businesses.
I don't think an organization wants to have their name associated with team members that are delivering AI slop to their clients.
Exactly. So, we started that conversation with enterprise transformation. I said it people part. And that's that human concept is so important. That's the reason it's an advantage. Now, when human and tokens race, token is winning. You see, you hear the headlines as when token is taking the center stage. But in a long run, it's going to be human who's creating the advantage because that's your ability of a critical thinking, your ability of using your experience in marketing and insurance or whatever technology you've worked in so far will help you to make that decision how correct that data is. AI is an enabler. I've said it earlier too. It's AI is artificial intelligence. We are still the real intelligence. And we have to make sure that how we use this artificial intelligence for our advantage, but the decision should be coming out for a human. So what you have asked me the question is leader needs to set those clear guidelines from the beginning when they are building the AI culture inside their environment. Make sure that that is also communicate that it's not taking critical thinking out of your conversation. I was talking with another leader who is in for sales and marketing, and I asked him that question. He's working a lot with sales and a lot of new generation coming out from the colleges and internship. And it's like, so they are basically starting with a lot of AI, unlike
Hmm.
a lot of senior people. What's the trend you're looking into it? And I
Yeah.
would interested to learn. And he said, the best way, which has worked in our team and in our culture, is just our leadership was very thoughtful, saying where AI has to be used and where your critical thinking is needed. There are certain places they do not allow AI to be used, where your real conversation is still needed. Because in sales, it's the about relationship you build. And I feel like relationships should be built anywhere you work in any of the field. So that allows that no, now you are actually talking with a person. You
Right.
need to know how to converse with the person and you need to know how to listen to Jackie, take her points. You can have AI to make a note of it because at the time I'm talking with 500 clients, okay, take a notes about it. But at the end, I'm looking at that notes, making the decision what Jackie has said, how she wants this to be delivered, what is the outcome looks like, and work on it. So that's the leadership piece. That's where leadership has to clear guideline where we are using AI. And it's always top down. Any approaches has to be a top down. It cannot be bottom up. You can't expect your people to learn AI, work with AI while building the revenue, and leaders are not investing the same amount of a time. So as a leader, I believe to do the same. So that if it's at the top down and having that clear guidelines, I need to think here. Would stop that sloppy behavior you have talked about because at the end, all of us have KPIs, OKR, the performance based on we are judged, and customer satisfaction is most of the industry is thriving.
I've never seen anybody, and correct me if I'm wrong, you've probably seen this a little bit more. I've never seen someone sign up for $1 million contract off an email. Like, it may open the door, but I don't think they're saying, click and here's my credit card information. It's like that just doesn't
Yeah.
happen. It's like they're the person part of it, like that is who's going to be paying for it and that who's going to agree to the contract.
Exactly. No, in my experience, no $1 million deals happen over the email where I send a beautiful email and they were moved by it and then just open their check. No, that never happens. So for me, unfortunately, it never happened. I wish that can happen. That will make my life so easier. But no, that's the thing, right? A lot of time we are talking about AI moving so fast, but for some of us, is AI is not moving that fast because the accuracy of that model is not there yet. We have not trained the model to that level where you want that expectancy out of it. That ROI piece, which everybody's talking, we are investing a lot into it, but that true value of AI is still not coming. It doesn't mean we have to stop. No, stopping is not the answer for it. But investing wisely is going to be answer in the long run because else you will be just running the fuel. And every company does not have that big funding behind that. You don't have a high risk tolerance behind you. So you have to be more strategic on how you invest your people, your technology, your data in a right way so that it gives you long run benefit rather than frustrating customers, frustrating your people, and then you're reverting back to something new.
Yeah. The organizations that you've seen implementing AI adoption really well, I'd love to get your take on how heavy of a hand they take in their AI systems and kind of creating like the guardrails in the actual technology. And then also I'd love to get your take like how heavy of a hand that for the human component. What is that? I mean, and maybe it's situationally for each organization, but I'd love to kind of hear your take on how that works in practice.
Sure. So it depends upon what stage of AI journey and AI transformation you are in, right? If you are in a beginning stage of AI and where you are trying to see how it's working, people are going with a small scale. And the governance around that is creating governance committee and channeling all the AI requests through that funnel. That governance committee would have diverse group of people making decision on what's the AI need looks like, what is the impact, what is the risk associated, and how much we are investing and return on investment, and then making decision on it. So that's kind of a governance model. Along with that, which is super helpful, is a training model. Like creating a training for individual employees. Because I truly believe on database decision making. So giving everybody training on the tools which is right for their team, for their work or function, helps them to make that determination that is this tool right for me or not. And when you are doing in a governed environment of your own company, secure channel, that makes it more possible for you to practice this more and give a real feedback And it generates the trust among people that my company is investing in me. And you want to work for it rather than fearing
Right.
the technology, you being more collaborative. This
Yeah.
is very early stage when you are looking into small products, small tool AI implementation. As when we are talking into the mid to large organization, when they are scaling this at now at to enterprise level, the conversation starts into do we create model inside ourselves or do we have external agents and models are working for us? And what is that situation looks like? So that's the first debate happens. And based on that, then the training model shifts and the governance shift. Because when you are working with external, that comes with their external security, which you collaborate with your own. And then you're training people on that and creating governance around. Now, when you're creating by your own or agents, then that's a very different environment. Then you're thinking about the infrastructure, how the data would be there, and how we are governing all this at a different steps of the way. Because human has to make at the center of the stage to make that decision saying what is right and what is not, which data is right and what is the data coming out from it is correct or not. Was that training, the model creation to model training, and then making a decision out of it, it's going to be a human element. As I earlier said, you don't want one agent to make a decision on another agent's work. It's not going to be helpful because they're now thinking in the same data, in the same
Mhm.
pattern. We as a human, as a, that real intelligence, we're going to be thinking from all perspective. I've heard there is going to be a political change happening. I'm feeling this uncertainty in my business. How we need to tweak now. We started with this data, but I now have a new data and I feel like we need to think about it, which nobody's thinking about it. That's your experience, which AI doesn't have it.
How does back to a little bit of the human element part? How do like how are the best leaders, or how do you? I mean, how are you doing? And also with like kind of internal AI adoption from a generational standpoint. You had mentioned a moment ago how there are some new grads coming in from just a this is their new world. Like, I mean, some of us
Yes.
grew up with the analog world and we kind of grew into a digital world. A
Indeed.
lot of these people are coming in from a digital world and now coming into an AI world. Like, there's almost like this. I'm particularly curious of the new generation, but like,
Sure.
I, I mean, I'm curious across the rungs, like what you're saying. Well, I'd love to understand you specifically as well, but then I also, I love understanding how what you're seeing from like other leaders, people in leadership positions, like how they're doing. Because I don't think it's one solution fits all, but I would love to know like some first case, kind of experiences.
So I see a different side of patterns. There are patterns on the leaders where they focus a lot on to AI tools and then they feel that AI is that magical tool is going to solve their problem. That's the pattern where I pull them out from that and say AI is part of a strategy. AI cannot be just the strategy. The components which I earlier talked about on enterprise transformation is keep that in mind, and then we put AI on top of it and say how we can solve this problem. Because AI is a multiplier. If you have a problem, it will expand your problem. And if you have a good solution, it will give you the better outcome of it. And then secondly comes is that strategic part of it saying which model is right for you, how and what to be using to get the maximum value out of it and keeping your people along with that. So you asked me the question about how the young generation and how the diversified group are adopting AI. They're a mixed bag. And I wouldn't put it in terms of age group wise, but I would put it in terms of thinking wise. There are people who are completely devoted to AI. And for every problem, their solution is AI is going to give me that right answer. AI is going to be make me that
Mhm.
genius which is out there. And there are people who are thinking, let me think about this problem. What's my take on it? Let me take the help of AI to get the background and the data so that I cannot read 50 articles, but AI can read 50 articles in
Right.
a couple of seconds and give me those articles. And then I take those articles and say, yes, this data doesn't make sense for me, or this data makes sense to me. These are the two categories of people I feel it is. And we need the blend of both. I want people to move a little bit closer on this side and a little bit closer on this side. So use AI and use AI more wisely and making sure that you know what you're trying to solve. keep your thinking intact. We don't want to make sure that what is coming out from AI is exactly right. And I should be presenting this in front of my CEO because this is the presentation of the year because AI is always right. No, AI is not always right. And that's the reason now you see more and more models are channeling that output, saying, I'm not a I'm not a marketing expert. This is just based on my experience. We are seeing that coming up more. The
Mhm.
more the governance around that, we will see more about it. But that thought process needs to be in our mind. The leaders who are going to be keep that thoughts in mind will be succeeding it. And the last one I would say is the curiosity. A lot of people who were not using AI because is that thought that's AI going to replace me. AI is going to take over the world. So my job is no longer going to be needed. Might be true. It depends upon what kind of job you're doing. If it's a purely administrative work, so yes, it can be replaced by AI. But if you add that critical thinking, if you put your expertise in there, what is your strength in that? Your thinking, that's always going to be keep you moving forward. So rather than fearing away from it, the curious people who are putting their hands on, and not only the technology people, because it's not like your cloud play, your data play, where we can say, oh, it's just the technology people are going to be work on it. Me in marketing and finance, I don't have to know about cloud or data. This is AI going to be impacting you as a consumer, you as a stakeholder in every aspect of your life. So give the hands on experience. So people who are getting the hands on experience are learning more and more about the AI and using it on a day to day basis to make sure that it's working for them and making their life better.
I've seen some instances or some anecdotal instances on social media where some people are like, clients are going to AI, and this kind of this echoes some of your points, but clients are going to AI and be like, well, my AI said XYZ. It's like, okay, great. Well, what do you think? Like, that's not good. Like, what is your feedback specifically as a human? What is your
Right.
experience with what has been delivered or what you're looking for? Because it can't be that just straightforward. It's like you
Yeah.
have, you have something to say. I'm sure you have an opinion.
Yeah, that's where your expertise is. And I have to say it sometimes in those conversations. So great, this is the AI input, and you have trained your model, and it's all beautiful. But I would like to know your version of it. If you didn't have the AI, if you have not seen that data, what do you think about? Because that's what we wanted to have your expertise. I can gather the AI expertise too, but I wanted to know as a real human your experience. You have worked in this industry for so many years. I would love to know your experience. And I've done that. It's some of the times you have to prop that question. Give me your feedback.
What I mean, this doesn't. I feel like you're going to have an opinion on this, and I'm kind of curious. Who are going to be the best leaders today or moving forward in this AI age?
I know I'm going to be repeating this word so many times, but thinking the people who think from the bigger picture, people who are not making this as just a technology play and keeping human aside, people who thinks from that holistic approach, the leaders who can see everything working cohesively and are continuously learning and being adaptable. The wave of AI is not going to be one product launch, one feature is done, and then okay, let's support handle it and I'm done. That's not the AI transformation is. AI transformation is going to be a continuous waves. The models are going to be improving. There is a new technology will be coming and people are adopting it quicker than you are thinking that how to scale this faster. So that adaptability and agility, these are a couple of skills I would say the leaders who possess that would be forward thinker, they will be moving ahead.
How do you think somebody that maybe feels like they don't necessarily, how can somebody train on some of these skills from your perspective?
You and I was having the conversation about how the LinkedIn Live is, and you said it, the more you do it, the more you feel uncomfortable. Same way with me. Every time when I have anything which is I have a doubt in, to start working on it. That's the only way to learn something because there is a lot of noise out there. You need a clarity. And the clarity, you don't want to rely on AI to give you or somebody else to give you. You want that clarity from yourself. And the way any human gets that clarity is by experiencing it. So there are so much data is available. I would say prioritize because there is so much data available. It's easier to get lost into what's going on. Don't jump from one tool to another. Start with the basic understanding and start the understanding which is right for your need. where you think you want to grow into. That will help you to narrow down what are the area of resources. There are so many LinkedIn informations and LinkedIn podcasts are available. There are LinkedIn learnings available. There are other source of data and seminars are available. Keep those strategy in mind and spend some time on learning new technologies because that's in every day, and I'm not saying it's difficult. It is difficult. It's not as easy as it seems like because we are working, we have a family life, and simultaneously you are learning a new technology. So it's difficult. But carving some time out of your daily or a weekly routine where you spend time on learning this technology would be super helpful. And then make that decision that why this is right and wrong for you. And keep this continuous. It's not that one tool I've learned and I'm done and I'm expert in AI. That's never going to be make you helpful in the over evolving AI world. So I would say continuous learning, be part of different communities because there are, I think so, human connection is always better. When I talk with you, Jackie, or somebody else, their experiencing is helps me to understand is my understanding of AI model is correct or not? What you are seeing from your perspective. So be part of some of those communities. That's super helpful to learn and learn with somebody. So I think so these are a couple of ways one can understand what AI can do for you and how you can grow with AI.
Do you think there's a path or a world or like let's say a lane where a company can proudly tout that they are 100% human created or devoid of AI? Is there success on that road or like in that vertical?
My question to you is why we want to say that. It's like why as a company, why you think it's that necessary where I have to say I'm 100% human or 100% AI? I always strongly believe on why. So I would love to know your opinion. Why would some organization want to say it's 100% human based?
From the marketing creative space. It's something that's been brought up. I don't have a fully formed opinion on it. Frankly, I do like what AI has afforded me in terms of as somebody that does consulting and contract work and building my own thing. It's made me so much more powerful. So I don't think I'm on that path, but I also realized through the process of working on my conversation cards, I was playing with AI a little bit and I was like, this isn't working for me. And I legitimately took a pen and a paper. I was like, let's get the devices away. Let's get the screens away. And I sat down and I started writing. What types of things have like sparked imagination, curiosity to really challenge my thinking? And I got into this flow and I was like, okay, I've got something here. I brought in a writer. She does improvisation and comedy and she worked, and some of her stuff also inspired me. And the combination of this, I was like, I realize now I have a product. It's not AI written at all. It's very
Yeah.
humanistic and it feels very different than an AI version would have looked like. But I also will say, I think the feedback loop with AI probably did help me to get to a place where my mind could kind of spark things. Because I feel like getting to it a yes sometimes also comes down to figuring out what your no is. And there was just so many no's there that like it helped me get to my yes.
So thank you for sharing that. So now I know what you mean and what's that mindset is. What I think is it's going in that route where we are making AI as bigger than human or what we're trying to solve it. For me, AI is an innovative technology. Would you in past have said that I'm 100% Microsoft or I'm 100% internet based or I'm 100% this?
I mean,
So
people feel that way about their cell phones.
right. People feel about their cell phones, but now we don't declare that, okay, it's about where you want it to, it's about how we are using it. Example you have said it is have you used AI correctly? Have you rely on your humans to give you that feedback and leverage AI where it was necessary? But you have used your influence and your critical thinking in saying, AI is not working correctly. This is not their place. It can be another human intern. You might have an intern working for you and you trying to present in front of board and the intern is giving you the data which is not useful and you have a presentation in a day. You can't rely on intern figuring out. You will go out and hustle and find that data and present in front of leadership. But it doesn't mean you don't go out and says interns are bad. No, interns, I might have to hire a right intern. Or maybe I need to train this intern because he or she is not capable to handle this problem at this level. There are things to work around. I see AI in that level. That's the reason AI, how we are using is important. And at the end, it's human who are using it. This narration is so much like I was having some conversation with young kids and they were like, AI going to replace the job. What your take on it? Because the moment they know I'm working on AI transformation there, it's interesting their perspective. It's like, what do you have listened? I've listened from my family this, I'm
Yeah.
listening from this. And they are teenagers. They are getting all this data and they are going to go in a next generation where they're in a college and they were making this decision. Or some is like, AI is that biases. I have even have adult conversations where AI is the biases. Because of AI bias, somebody has lost a job, or because of AI bias, this wrong has happened. And I said, we're talking about technologies. AI is the biases are human biases. The
Yeah.
program, the algorithm, the data feeding is done by us. So if our biases are entering into it and there was no another human to checkpoint it, it's whose fault is? Again, it's humans' fault. We have given that power to AI without having that human checkpoint saying, are we biases free? Because if Jackie is writing an algorithm, Rupali is reviewing that algorithm, gives two different diverse perspective to come in and making sure that it's the algorithm which is built up is correct. The model is working based on that. That's the reason that human checkpoint is important. And if we keep that in mind, then technology will be great. So I see is even if you say I'm 100% example of your father saying he's not been using technology, but he was using, he is partnering with, or he's going to groceries and going in a day-to-day life where all of them are using that technology. So you might, your organization, make that decision that I'm not using AI, but you're partnering with vendors who might be using AI. Your customers are using AI. They might be leveraging your component or your data or your product to build something in AI. So 100% it's not going to be an AI free. And I don't want that narration to happen. I want to see more about how you're using AI as a technology wisely. How are you using this innovation to make it good and make it better for human, not making worse for human?
What do you want? I mean, and what do you want to see coming up? Just broad, like, what do you have? I guess, like a prediction. Like, are you? Do you have any predictions as to like where things are going?
Prediction. But my prediction is token is winning versus human. Infrastructure, the investment in data, and that is heavy, where human investment is less, and people are moving away from the skill sets of human. That will come about. That is going to be a real advantage. When people thinks about cohesively all of this, it's going to give a real advantage, and that's going to be my prediction that that's going to be happening.
Sustainable?
Not for all. It's not going to be for all. And this pricing is not going to be staying the same. The more we are working on, the more the markets are going to be open up. There is going to be competitions and where which we will get a lower valued model. And you will know how to use model wisely. Now, every small issues in your email, you're not going to be using the highest thinking model. Your email correction can be done by you. You don't use for emails and for generating the content, you are not using AI completely. That saves you a token. So that strategy itself will drive the token economy down. So combination of all that, it's going to come down, but it's not going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I'm pro innovation, period. I've been that way my entire life, especially even with like science and technology. I feel like we're at this place right now where it's just murky and people are, and rightfully so, angry, and people are confused and people feel like they're not being considered and lost. Also, at the same time, I'm like, I think we have to keep going to see what is possible. And I think that there can be a lot of good things. I'm thrilled to see this stuff. Is there something that you want to make sure that we cover before we wrap up?
Something I would summarize in that is A is don't let fear to cloud your mind. Get clarity on what AI is, how it's working, and how you can take advantage of it. Think so that's going to be the one of the table stakes or which will make you a forward thinking leader that will move you ahead in your career wherever you wanted to do it. So that's the first piece. Secondly, be adaptable. Don't be bound to one model and not exploring the other. I'm only going to be going in a one path and I'm not exploring what's happening in other side of it. No, be adaptable. These models are growing and they are scaling fast. So invest your time, your money, your all resources wisely. Be strategic about it and be adaptive about it. And this adoption will be quickly. So adaptability, agility is another factor I would say it's very helpful. And third is be curious. As we grow older, we get mature, our curiosity goes down. Keep that curiosity alive because that will keep you going. Learning comes with failure, innovation comes with failure. Because innovation is not something somebody has done it in the past. If it was, then it is not called as a innovative solution. So innovation comes with its risk, comes with its failure. Don't repeat the same mistake, but do a calculated risk and see and learn from your mistakes. But continuously moving forward. Don't let failure to stop you to move forward. Think so. These are human skills I'm talking about, nothing about technology. And that's what you have to understand is that's our real differentiator. I know how to communicate with Jackie. I know how to think with Jackie, and know how to give you answer based on my experience and what I'm saying. It doesn't exactly align with what you're saying or what you are thinking. That is our differentiator, and that's great. That's uniqueness is good, and it's a real advantage. Now we have to pair it up with this new technology, AI, and see how we can make this better. How can I do what I do the best and faster and give those administrative work to my AI and say, you manage all that task.
Yeah.
You do all the reading. Let me do your reading, take your reading and see whether it's right or wrong. Build your own models. It's really helpful. And while I'm doing it, I can see my relationship with my previous programming languages. I've started in C, C++. So I can see it, how it's those principles same applies. Your
Yeah.
prompt engineering is very similar to how you were communicating, and you have to learn about it effectively. If you're an effective communicator, your prompt engineering is going to be better because now you think from all perspective that when I'm asking Jackie a question, what it looks like. So keep that human element. Don't throw it away because AI is going to be helping me. So I don't need to think. I don't need to analyze. I don't need to work on all that human element. That is going to be a real advantage.
What's your
Yeah.
point? What's your
Yeah.
end point? Where are you getting to? But you can't get there if you're just reading the headlines at the end of the day. You have to have but you can get there from like if you've tried it and you still don't like it and you think that this is, doom and gloom, fine. Take that road. That
Yeah.
is yours to take. But I think if you don't understand it, you can't really I don't know. I can't take you too seriously if you don't really get it.
And this exactly, Jackie, is what you said it's okay if you have used this and it's not right for you and you have a real example. It's not about I'm feeling about it. I feel something that AI is
Or
not going to
taking
do
somebody
job.
else's opinion. It's like, well,
In
make your
somebody
own.
else's opinion, absolutely. So that's not the real data. Do your hands-on experience and don't be biased. Like I'm going to hate this AI, so I will find every possible way of resisting it. It's just very similar to the transformation in a drive. When you're doing a change, and if you have made a mind saying, I'm going to hate this new product, then everything what product brings is going to be very bad. It's early stage of AI. It's not scaled to the level of your accuracy and thinking and what we are expecting out of AI. Keep that in mind and keep that open mind will help you not to hate, but to experience it and then make a decision saying this model is not right. It's not mature enough to take and do what I need this model to do. That's a fair, great input, and then resurface it after 3 months later. Because models are evolving faster and go back and see, is it still ready? No, it's not. Great. Give it another quarter. That's the right approach to move forward rather than it was not doing great. I know it's newer. This model never going to be doing as great as a job. I'm completely avoiding it. That's not going to be making you move.
I think that's a perfect way actually to wrap up this conversation. I'm totally there with you. I'd love to encourage anybody, if you aren't following Rupali Kumbhani, please go find her on LinkedIn.